For more problems and videos like this for linear algebra, you can take a look at Sarai Studies. Link is in the description box below.
Let H be a set of points inside and on the unit circle in the xy plane. So we have a coordinate plane and then we have a unit circle. So in other words, this says the exact same thing that we just read. This is the equation of a unit circle, and it's an R2 because we have two entries, two rows, x and y, so we are in the second dimensional space of all real numbers. And this is H. It is literally the set of points on the unit circle and all of the points inside of it, so this as well. They're asking us to find a specific example, two vectors or a vector and a scalar to show that H is not a subspace of R2. Well, let's try this one. We can pick a vector on H or inside H, but we would actually have to know the point. So you would have to have basic knowledge of your unit circle and how these here are your most well-known points, and so I would pick maybe this one, which is 1, 0. So this vector here is represented as a vector or is just as a point, that's 1, 0. And let's say that I pick a scalar. C can be any real number, so let's say I just do 2, it doesn't matter. You could pick 3, 4, 5, whatever. And remember that the last condition of a vector space is that if you take any vector on H and you scale it, then that resulting vector, that scaled vector, should still be on H if it is a subspace of R2. And if that's not true, then that means it's not a subspace of R2. So in other words, take your vector 1, 0, scale it by 2. We know how to multiply, so this would be 2 times 1 and then 2 times 0, 0, and this is our resulting vector. Then you would go and plot that. X is equal to 2 is going to be somewhere around here. And we can clearly see that that's not on H, nor is it inside H. And therefore, we proved that H is not a subspace of R2, of our vector space, because R2 is our vector space. It's a space of vectors or points, however you want to call it. So it's not a subspace of R2 of our vector space, but it is a subset. So a subset is just a fancy way of saying it's something inside the vector space. So it is something inside a vector space. It's a collection of vectors, a collection of points inside a vector space, but it's not a subspace because it's not a vector space within itself.
Because it failed to meet one of the conditions of a vector space, and that is all vectors that you can choose in H, if you scale them, their resulting vectors should still be inside or on H. And we proved that 2, 0 was not on H, and so therefore it's definitely not a vector space, so it can't be a subspace of R2.